You ever see those?
You didn't have to try to tackle him.
Exactly. You ever see those Bugs Bunny cartoons where the road runner is running down the thing and the coyote's like this, and come on, I got you. And then he goes both ways and the coyote just falls back and we're just sitting both ways. Oh my God. Oh my God. Take a picture of it.
Hey, just stay down there, Josh.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Glynn County Sports Hall of Fame. Everybody here okay? Where's that better? Welcome. Glad to be here tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed their dinner. Give yourselves a nice hand for coming out, ladies and gentlemen. In the entertainment business, that's called a cheap pop. Just give you applause. I'm so delighted to be here tonight. I hope everybody's good. I'd like to welcome you, and we're going to have just a big show tonight. But first, ladies and gentlemen, I need to introduce the president of the Glynn County Sports Hall of Fame. And I got to tell you, he is always looking for the next big thing. This man told me the other day that he's trying to start a professional hide-and-go-seek league. He hadn't been successful because good players are hard to find. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one, the only, Mr. Kevin Price.
Thank you, Joe. He's actually told some worse jokes about me than that, so I can accept that one. But isn't it great to have Joe Willie here? Y'all probably know him, world famous Joe Willie Sousa. He is actually in 2 Halls of Fame himself, but fortunately he was only so good at football, so this week he's not in Canton, Ohio for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, or he wouldn't be here with us tonight, so we're fortunate to have Joe Willie here with us. But really what I want to do during my time is just thank a lot of people, also recognize some special people that we have here with us tonight, and then I'll move us right into our formal induction ceremony and then turn things back over to Joe. But the first group of people I want to thank is actually you. I don't know if y'all realize this or not, but the best or the biggest banquet we've ever had in terms of attendance was our very first one back in 2012, and it was at the temporary tent village that they had set up in the historic district while this facility was being built, and we had close to 400 that night. I think 385 was the actual number. Tonight, the number we turned in was right at 300, and it looks like we pretty much made it to that number. This is the largest crowd that we've had for a Sports Hall of Fame banquet in this building. So congratulations to y'all. I guess I made some sports history here tonight as well. The next group of people that I want to thank is our corporate community, our corporate sponsors. Since that very first banquet, we've always gotten good support from our community, and that's no different tonight. You've got the programs at your table, the special insert that was in the Brunswick News. Our sponsors are listed there. They're also listed in the on the back of the one-page program. It is there tonight, and of course they were scrolling here earlier, but we've always thought that it's important for me to name or call out all of our sponsors at least one more time. It is a long list, but I'll try to roll through it very quickly, and then just thank all of these great folks one more time, because without them, what we're doing here tonight certainly can't happen. Our gold sponsors, Coca-Cola, and also Herff Jones, the Roderick Group. Our corporate sponsors, the Sea Island Company, Servpro of Brunswick, Maggie Dutton with State Farm Insurance, Southeast Georgia Health System, Ameris Bank, Marshside Grill, Crab Daddy Seafood Grill, Sea Georgia Realty, the Davis Love Foundation, the Lincoln Financial Group, the Vandora Law Firm, B&J Steaks and Seafood, Brunswick Family Dentistry, Dale McNabb with Edward Jones, Butch Paxton with State Farm Insurance, Martin's Funeral Home, the Emerald Princess Casino, Hatch Media Group, Southern Orthopedics, Seaside Ophthalmology, Sweats Furniture, Beachview Event Rentals, Parker's, Omega Sci-Fi, the Risley Alumni Association, Don Mason with State Farm Insurance, Keen's Colonial Ford, International Longshoremen's Association, and by the way, that's local 1423. I've got that memorized from doing PA at Glynn County Stadium. St. Simon's Golf Carts, McQuigg, Smith and Curry, LLC, Generator Solutions by Coffee Electric, Roland Daniels Properties, Ace Hardware, Fiber Seal, and also the Brunswick News. We also have several people, some of which are here tonight, to help us out in various ways. We have Dale Leonard with Dale Leonard Productions, Inspire Event Services, Nancy J. Reynolds Photography, Joni Bennett, who did the table decorations for tonight, Joe Willie Sousa from 104.1 The Wave and Golden Isles Broadcasting, of course the Jekyll Island Convention Center, Hilton Neal with Golden Isles Career Academy, the Trophy Shop, Glynn County Schools Athletics, and also Glynn County Recreation and Parks. If we would, just give all these folks a hand. Next, I would like to recognize our Board of Directors. They work year-round to put this together, send a bunch of emails, send a bunch of texts and phone calls, take all of my emails and phone calls. They go out and raise money, they attend our meetings, and everything is geared toward getting us here tonight and putting on a good event for our community. And it would not be fair for me not to recognize all these folks. They probably don't want the attention, but I am going to ask them to please stand wherever they are and just be recognized. I will start with our officers, Rick Stalvey, our Vice President, who is here on stage. Also our Secretary, Keith Redding. Our Treasurer, Rusty Sweat. Now our board members, Coach Teresa Adams, Jeff Bennett, Felicia Harris, Jerry Moore, who I think is still trying to make it here from another personal obligation, Tony Renee, Coach Burnett Rooks, Mike Thomas, and also Nick Sasser, who is not here tonight due to professional conflict as well. And then we also have our resident historian, who really needs no introduction, but that's Mr. Murray Poole. Murray? If you will, just give all these guys a hand. At each induction, it's our tradition to welcome back our Hall of Fame members. We have a good many represented tonight, whether it's the inductee themselves or a family member representing a past inductee. In fact, we have at least one inductee from each of our previous 8 classes, and at this time I would like to recognize all of those who are here tonight represented at our 2025 Hall of Fame banquet. I'll go in order by class, starting with our 2012 class, which of course was our very first class, Coach Teresa Adams. Also from that class, representing Milton Byard, we have his daughter, Angela Byard Rucker, and also his son, Milton Byard Jr. Also here, representing Lamar Racehorse Davis, we have the Adams brothers, Taylor and Johnny Adams. And then, of course, we do have the 1964 Glynn Academy State Championship football team. Obviously, Johnny Tullis is here tonight as the 2025 inductee. His quarterback, Ashton Doyle, Richard Robinson, and also Mike Strickland. And if anybody else is here from that team, please stand. Those are the ones that I knew of that were coming. Now, moving on to the class of 2013, representing Mel Latney, we have his brother, Greg Latney, and his wife, Glynn. And Mr. and Miss Harry and Virginia Clark were supposed to be here tonight representing their daughter, Beth Clark Morrison, but Mr. Harry unfortunately came down ill at the last minute and was not able to be here, so we do regret that. From the class of 2014, Randy Fisher is here tonight. Of course, his brother, Willie Fisher. By the way, just a footnote, Randy and Willie become the first brother combination to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Also here from the class of 2014, Coach Robert Sapp. Now from the class of 2015, representing his brother Charlie Bankston, or Jimmy Bankston, is Charlie Bankston. Now from the class of 2016, again, Mr. Murray Poole. From the class of 2018, Tommy Casey. Also here tonight from 2018 is Coach Herman Hudson. And also tonight, representing 2018 inductee Dawn Wynn, is her mother, Deborah Thomas. Now from the class of 2020, they had the longest time ever between getting voted in and their actual induction. I'm sure y'all can all figure out why. But we have Mark Drury here this evening. And then from our last class, we have several inductees here. We have Felicia Harris. We also have Ernest Palmer. And again, from 2023, we have Tash Van Doren. And also with us tonight, representing her father, John Willis, is his daughter, Maria Mangler. A few banquets ago, we started holding a moment of silence in memory of any Hall of Fame member who has passed away since our last induction ceremony. This past January, we lost former Brunswick High football coach John Willis, who, as we just mentioned, was inducted into the Hall in 2023. As noted, his daughter, Maria, is here with us tonight, representing Coach and the Willis family. At this time, please join me for a moment of silence in honor of Coach John Willis. Thank you. Now, let's have some fun and celebrate the class of 2025. This is the 9th Glynn County Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Since 2012, the Hall of Fame has inducted 47 members. Tonight, we will induct 6 new members, which will bring our membership to 53 strong. As part of their induction, our new Hall of Fame members will receive several items from the Hall tonight. Our inductees will receive a plaque, which is identical to the one that will go in our permanent Hall of Fame display located at the Southeast Georgia Health System in Brunswick. Also tonight, our inductees will receive their custom-made Hall of Fame rings courtesy of Herff Jones and the Rogers Group, our ring provider since the Hall of Fame began in 2012. Post-banquet, our inductees will get an official video copy of tonight's banquet ceremony, which is being filmed by Dale Leonard from Dale Leonard Productions, along with their tribute videos, which will be shown as they are introduced tonight during our upcoming ceremony. Also, each inductee will receive a photo of their formal presentation of their Hall of Fame award, which will be taken following the ceremony tonight by Nancy Reynolds Haven of Nancy Reynolds Photography, who of course is photographing tonight's banquet. So, as president of the Glynn County Sports Hall of Fame, it is my pleasure to introduce you to our 2025 induction class with this following short video presentation. Our MC, Joe Sousa, will then return to the podium after the video to take us through our parade of inductees.
All right, y'all ready to meet our inductees this year? We've got some really good ones. I'd like to introduce y'all to Antoine Andrews, the Glynn Academy standout running back who graduated in 2000 following an outstanding football career with the Red Terrors. He capped his 4-year career with a combined rushing total of 4,489 yards, which is still a Glynn County Public School prep record. He carried the ball 859 times in his high school career to average 5.2 yards per carry. He tallied a total of 45 touchdowns. In addition, he also had 14 receptions for 188 yards. I understand in one game alone, I think he carried the ball for like, what was it, Spence, 48 times? How many?
44 times.
44 times in one game. That's hot. That's toting the ball quite a bit. Andrews is also a basketball standout for Glynn. He led the Terrors in rushing for 4 consecutive years. In his freshman season in 1996, he ran for 331 yards on 96 carries with 3 scores. In 97, the sophomore tailback rushed for 1,192 yards on 227 carries with 5 touchdowns in his junior year. He rushed for a single season school record 1,674 yards on 293 carries, which is also a record at the time of 22 touchdowns. His senior season, he rushed for another 1,292 yards on 243 carries with 15 touchdowns. Now, following his junior year, Andrews was chosen as the Coastal Empire Offensive Player of the Year after leading Glynn to a 9-2 overall record, also and its first state playoff berth in 26 years. His senior year, he was named the Region 5A's most valuable skill player. He was also chosen to the Florida Times Union Super 24 team and was an all-state honorable mention selection. Andrews accepted a football scholarship at Georgia Military College. After 2 years there, he went on to play at Albany State for 2 years. He was a Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference first-team pick at running back in 2005. As a senior, when the Rams won the SIAC championship, Andrews ran for 120 yards a game that season, while leading the conference's best rushing offense, which averaged more than 250 yards a game on the ground. Andrews is currently residing in Arlington, Texas. One of his largest passions is physical fitness. And let me say this, he also has the best looking pair of shoes here tonight. I know I'm not supposed to covet anything, but I covet his shoes. I really do. I'll have to talk to him about where he got them. Ladies and gentlemen, 2025 inductee Antoine Andrews.
So 1st and 15 Rams. Give this time to Andrews. Boy, he has one man to beat at 25, 30, 35, first down, 40 by receivers. Here's a handoff to Andrews this time. He gets to the 20. Oh, man, makes a move, and he's 2nd down and 4 Rams from the 45-yard line. They give to Andrews again. Boy, he is just fighting through on 1st down. Hands off to Andrews. Boy, he is going to use a stiff arm once again and get loose. And look at the power, just running and driving. He's going to hit and bounce off a couple of players. 3 play. Oh, man, you talk about effort. Gets down to the 1-yard line.
Hey man, it feels good. Awesome. Saw my shoes. I got them from the gas station right down the road. I didn't want to write a speech. I just wanted to just speak from the heart. And I just want to thank God and thank everybody that's here. One thing I can say, I put it all on the field. And there's a lot of people in here I can thank. I thank these guys right here at table 11, Coach Tully. We could have had about 7,000 yards, but we kept changing offense every year. But I just kept telling you, I remember one game, it was like 3rd and 25. And the quarterback ran back in the huddle and said, "Man, coach want to run you the ball again." I say, "Well, just give me the ball." And I almost got the first down by like 2 yards. But overall, one lady that I would like to thank was my granny. She was very hard on me. And football was all I had. I wanted to play football because if I come home, I got to do the dishes. She would make me scrub the porch. You know, old school days was the best days. But the best thing I remember was my junior year, I said to myself, I'm going to break that dang record. And I wanted 2,000 yards. I wrote it down as a goal. And I almost got it. But overall, this is a great accomplishment for me. Through going through so much, and I support people that go through mental situations. And when Kevin and Miss Lisa, thank y'all, gave me a call and told me I was getting inducted in the Hall of Fame, I really want to tell Kevin, what took y'all so dang long? And then on the picture, you know, he a Brother High guy. He had to put the picture in there with Brother High, knocking me down. But I mean, overall, I'm very excited. I haven't been home in the last 3 years. I haven't seen one guy that's been a best friend for me since elementary school. We went to elementary school, middle school, and high school. And I want to say, I love you, son. I love you, boy. Adam Wainwright.
Aw, that's so nice.
I didn't know how I was going to make it here, but I said, for this guy right here, we've been friends for a long time. He couldn't dunk. 6'4", 6'5", couldn't never dunk. go out and run right. Remember you kicked that 60-yard in practice that day? He can punt it, but he couldn't dunk. At 6'4", 6'5". I just want to let you know I love you. And I love your mom too. And I thank my mom as well. My auntie, everybody at this table, they stayed on my butt. How long I got? Okay. So I can still talk. But one thing I gotta say, when I got on that field, I knew nobody wasn't gonna be able to tackle me. And Coach Yates weighed in. He used to always get on me about, you need to lift weights. Coach, I don't need to lift no weights. Because my grandma had me do so much at home to where I need to get on the field and just do what I need to do. And he used to get mad at me. But overall, it ain't just me that I want the reason why y'all thanking me. I thank all of y'all that are here. I was raised in a little small town called Dixville, Georgia. I didn't know they called it Dixville, Georgia. But I knew growing up that I was going to be great. I'm gonna be honest with you. I knew I was going to be great. I had to. Just because of the way I was raised, that I felt like I had to be successful. And even though that I didn't get where I wanted to be, I was that close. But it taught me that God can discipline you in so many ways. And he disciplined me a lot. Because I had the attitude like, I'm Antoine Andrews. But then when I got older, as I started progressing, getting older, I started realizing like, you gotta take life a little bit more serious. And today, to be honest with you, this is the best day of my life right now. I'm still had a cocky attitude. I knew I was gonna break Kevin Price every record in Glynn County. Me and Go to talked about a long time ago. I should have had about 7,000 yards. But I take that little 4,489. Even though if you add the penalties, it's about 5,500. But overall, I haven't been home for 3 years. It feels good to see my mom, my best friend, Neat, my auntie, Auntie Cheryl. They stayed on my butt. And they still stay on my butt. So when I get a call, I answer. What you doing? So when I say something, But overall, man, I can sit and talk to y'all all night if y'all want to. I'm just joking. I was nervous at first to come here because I really didn't know what to say. That's why I didn't want to write no speech. But as I started feeling more comfortable seeing all these people, I said, you know what? It's my time. To the next person. But before I get off the stage, I just want to say thank y'all. I want to thank Table 11, Coach Tooley, his wife, Coach Etheridge, Coach Allison. Shoot. They just kept saying, you see him and Dean Ball. But I really enjoy myself. Feels great to make goals and you accomplish it. It feels great to make history when you didn't know you was going to be able to make history. Amen. I didn't know that I was going to play football. I just knew I didn't want to go home and do chores. So I had to be great. But overall, it feels good. This is my night. I don't care who come up here next. Other than my boy Adam. That's my best friend. I haven't seen him in 25 years. But when I see these shoes, I say, yeah, my shoes look better than everybody's shoes. Whoever come in. But I thank everybody for being here, making laughs, because I need it. Like I said, mental health is something that you should support. And I'm gonna wait on Jerry Jones. Give me a call. I can play 2 quarters, and that's the 3rd and the 4th. I still give you about 5.6 yards a kick. But I want to thank everybody, and thank God. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank everybody that actually gave me an opportunity to achieve by being in the Hall of Fame. And before I go, it's been 25 years. It might be another 25 before we bring Antoine Andrews record. I want to be honest with you. But I thank y'all.
Antoine Andrews, ladies and gentlemen. So, tonight I was debating on which jacket I was going to wear. I had a gold one. I thought, no, that's too Brunswick High-ish. I wore this one, and then somebody said, this is kind of Frederica Academy-ish. And I said, hold on a second. Show you the inside. That's pure Glynn Academy right there. All right, so I want y'all to know. All right, we need to talk about Katie Burnett. Katie grew up playing several sports and really blossomed as a golfer in high school. She won several junior tournaments outside of high school competition, including the prestigious Georgia Peach Tournament. With the Brunswick High girls team, she won a 4-time MVP, set school records for lowest 9 and 18-hole scores, and also won the 2008 individual Class 4A state championship. Katie received numerous scholarship offers for softball before receiving any scholarships for golf. She was a highly sought-after pitcher and third baseman, having a 52, is that 52 or 62? 62 mile-an-hour fastball as a 14-year-old. She accepted a full golf scholarship from the University of South Carolina and became one of the best ever to play for that school. She won 3 straight MVP awards and graduated as the all-time career scoring leader for the Gamecocks. She still holds the record for the best individual finish at the NCAA championships by any Gamecock with a fifth place finish. She was an NCAA regional champion in 2010, was a 2-time All-American, also earned all SEC honors, while also being named a 4-time academic All-American. As a senior, Burnett was South Carolina's female nominee for the prestigious SEC H. Boyd McWhorter Scholar Athlete Award. Katie was the 8th ranked player in college prior to turning professional in June of 2012. She won her first pro event, the Michigan Women's Open, by 10 shots. The first summer she was a professional, Burnett qualified for the 2012 U.S. Women's Open in December of that year after winning the second stage of LPGA Q School by 6 shots. She gained partial status on the Ladies Professional Golf Association Tour. She also gained full status on the Ladies European Tour for the 2013 season through qualifying school only 2 weeks later. Now, halfway through her first season, she earned full status on the LPGA Tour and finished that season in the top 100 on the money list. Katie played in only 7 events on the LET as a rookie, with 3 top 5 finishes, including a runner-up finish, and ended that season in the top 40 on the LET money list. After that, she was a steady force on both the LPGA and LET tours. The highlight of her career was runner-up finish at the 2016 LOTTE Championship played at a resort in Hawaii. Leading after the third round, she saw her 30-foot birdie putt slide by the cup on the 72nd hole to just miss going into the playoff. She recorded 9 total top 20 finishes in her career on the LPGA Tour, including the runner-up and another top 10 finish. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Katie Burnett.
Easily, sand wedge.
Oh, Katie, that gets her in the house of 13 under par.
Proud as all of us to welcome Katie Burnett to the Glynn County Sports Hall of Fame.
I really don't know how much to follow Antoine after that. I definitely don't think I'm going to get as many laughs as he did. I did write a speech as well because I was afraid if I just went for it, I'd probably just fry up here. So this could still happen, by the way, but I'll try not to. It's an amazing honor to be here tonight, standing on stage and being here with all the other amazing athletes here. I'm really honored and grateful to be up here tonight. I also have a little story about Adam that maybe you don't remember, but you hosted when you were at Glynn Academy. There was a summer camp for baseball for boys and girls, and I think about 300 boys showed up and me. And my mom asked my brother, is it okay if she goes? And he's like, yeah, she's probably better than most of them, it's all right. And all the boys wanted to hang out with you. And I was getting picked on quite a bit because I was the only girl. And Adam noticed it, and he said, you come with me. And I got to hang out with him the whole camp, which is what every boy wanted. But I got that honor. So for me, it's really cool to be up on the stage and being honored here with you tonight as well. So I also made my way from the Netherlands specifically for this as well. So anyway. I wanted to take this time to just thank people because for me, they say it takes a village to raise a child, but for me, I know it takes a village to raise an elite athlete or build an elite athlete as well, so I wanted to take this time to just thank some people. And Kevin said we only had about 7 minutes, and I thought there's no way I can thank all those people in 7 minutes, but I'll try. People often ask me how I got into golf, and I always tell them basically the same story. My brother and I used to stay with our grandparents in the summer when my parents were at work. They always took us to do something athletic, whether it was playing tennis, going biking, body surfing at the beach, and also to play a little golf. One summer when I was 6 and my brother was 7, they took us to a Boys and Girls Club golf clinic. It was just supposed to be for boys and girls 7 and older. But I always did everything my brother did. He was a pitcher in baseball. I was the pitcher in softball. He was the point guard in basketball, so I was the point guard in basketball. So naturally, I wanted to hit balls too, but I was too young. But my brother was the only boy that showed up, or the only kid that showed up. So I was back there nagging my grandparents, why can't I hit balls? I mean, he's doing it, right? And finally, the owner of the par 3 and pro, Wade Caruth, he said, just let her try. And I hit the first ball in the air, and I would say that was the start. And a few days later, he had cut down a junior set. I was really small. He cut down a junior set specifically for me. So when I came back the next week, he had them ready for me so that we could practice. As I mentioned, like nobody reaches an elite level of anything alone. You always have people who open doors or who believe in you before you even know to believe in yourself. So Wade, thank you for believing in that 6-year-old girl. To my brother, probably didn't think you were getting thanked in this, did you? But thank you for always pushing me, whether you realized it or not. All the hours we spent playing all the different sports in the backyard, all the times we played against each other or argued on the golf course, it made me better. And yes, I always wanted to beat you, and that hasn't changed. To my grandparents, thank you for introducing us to this amazing game. You gave me the chance to travel the world, meet some of my closest friends, and live my dream. I wish you both could be here tonight. They say it takes a village to raise a child, as I mentioned, and I've been really lucky in my career to have some amazing people, family members, friends in my corner throughout my career. Benita Tanner, many of you know her, she's practically the mayor. She was my high school golf coach. Whether it was belting out karaoke in the van on the way to a high school event, or her driving 7 hours to an LPGA event after school just to see me on the first tee. She's always gone above and beyond as a friend and as a coach. Everyone deserves somebody like her in their life. Jared Zach, my instructor, mentor, coach, and friend. We started working together when I was just 15 years old. He was 28. I will never have enough words to describe how much you've meant to me in my game. I could stand up here for hours giving different examples, getting me through final stage of LPGA school, caddying for me first U.S. Open, or several U.S. Opens after that. But I'll share one example that really meant a lot to me. You gave me the confidence to believe I could compete against the best in the world. People used to mention that putting was one of the strongest parts of my game, and I remember exactly when that changed. He told me he wouldn't give me another golf lesson unless I told at least 5 people I was a good putter, because I wasn't at the time. And by the 5th person, I actually started believing it myself, and that was a real game changer for me. You always know the right things to say, and to calm me down in tough times. Thank you will never be enough, but I only got 7 minutes. Mom, Dad, there aren't enough words either, other than to say without your love and support, I wouldn't be here tonight. Thank you for all the hours you spent practicing with me and Ben, catching for us, hitting ground balls to us on the street, pitching to us, playing one-on-one basketball, coaching our various rec leagues, or traveling to team sports, or just traveling around the world to support both of us. You shaped us into the athletes we became and the people we are today. You taught us that hard work matters, character counts, and that we could do anything we put our minds to as long as we were willing to put in the work. My mom did not miss a single one of my games in any sport. I played 4, played 3 in high school, until I was a sophomore in college when we played at Stanford. That's the kind of love and commitment I grew up with. To have parents who not only support your dreams but truly believe in you, that's rare, it's special, it's everything. Your unwavering support made me feel anything was possible. Thank you. Thank you for giving me that minute. To my son, you can do anything you put your mind to, buddy. And I'll always be there for you, supporting you like my mom, my dad, my grandparents did for me. Dream big, buddy. To Davey, thank you for always wanting what's best for me and pushing me to be the best version of myself, even if that means having tough conversations or reminding me to take a breath and focus on what's really important in life. We met through golf, and I can't imagine an alternate reality. We've also created the most amazing little human I've ever known, that little guy right there. And I'm so grateful for you and your support. And to everyone else who's helped me along the way, whether big or small, in golf, in life, in the classroom, in another sport, or just cheering me on from the sidelines, or like my cousin who randomly flew to Dubai to caddy for me. You know who you are. Thank you. I wouldn't be here tonight without every one of you. As I said, it takes a village. I feel this honor is as much yours as it is mine. So go ahead and consider yourselves inducted too. To my fellow honorees, congratulations. I'm so proud to share the stage with you tonight. It's an incredible honor, and I'm deeply grateful. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kenny Burnett. We're going to take it on Willie Fisher. Glynn Academy standout basketball player, graduated in 1987 after a stellar career with the Red Terrors. He started his final 3 years at Glynn and led the Terrors in scoring all 3 years. Fisher averaged 16.6 points per game as a sophomore, 20 points per game as a junior, 29.4 points per game as a senior, which ranks as the school's all-time best single scoring average, and is also the best in Glynn County history. With a total of 1,578 points during his 3-year career, Fisher is also the all-time leading scorer at Glynn Academy and also for Glynn County. He averaged 21.6 points a game for his career with the Terrors. After high school, Willie played at the Lake City Community College in Florida for 2 years. As a sophomore, he averaged 23 points and 10 assists per game and was selected to the National Junior College Region All-State team. Fisher was recruited by Norm Sloan in Florida, among others, before going on to play at Jacksonville State University. As a Jacksonville State starting point guard for 2 years, the 5'9" Fisher led the team in assists both years, accumulating a career total of 298 assists. He ranked 8th overall in program history, despite playing only 2 years. He also led the team in the free throw percentage both years, making 100 of 121 foul shots in 1991 and 1990 and 91 for an average of .826 percentage, and making 153 of 191 in 91-92 for an 800 average. Sadly, he passed away in 2018. Let's watch the video. best friends growing up, Rick Jackson, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. First of all, I think there definitely was color photos back then. I hate to think that everything we have left is all black and white, but anyway, it did it justice. It's an honor. You know, it's bittersweet because I'm having to do this, but at the same time, I feel such an honor to be able to stand up and share some things. The hall, thank you so much. You know, it's I think fitting. He's in with his brother now. There's the only set of brothers here, so that's something else as well. He's right here. I'm biased because I believe that in the same family we have the best basketball player and the best football player to come through Glynn County. Just my opinion. But at the same time, they were a joy to be friends with and to watch. And you know, I'll go through some stats. Obviously, Joe did a great job of that because they're remarkable. But I just want to share some stories too, and kind of show you at least an insight of who he was, because he was a great friend, and obviously we miss him. The family did me justice by letting me come up here, so that's an honor as well. I'm going to refer probably most of you that know him as Pie. That's his nickname. So if I refer to him as Pie, it's not just to shorten things up, it's because nobody knew him as Willie. A namesake, you know, his father Willie, his mother Mary, sister Tracy, sister Vaughn, brother Randy. He has two sons, Kiki and Jawarin. They do live out of state, so unfortunately they couldn't make it here tonight. But you know, it's something that I'll get to at the end, but it's special. Because I think that, he should be honored, and I'm glad he got in. Timing doesn't matter. He's here, so that's all that matters. You know, the 29.4 points a game his senior year, it's amazing. My thunder wasn't stolen because I wanted to bring up for everyone that doesn't know, we graduated in 87, so we were 86-87 basketball season. The Federation of High Schools didn't institute the three-point line until the following year. So I don't know what the stats would have been. For people that know Pie, his pull-up jumper was well in the range of the three-point line. So that 29.4, who knows? That's impressive. I mean, everything he shot was almost strictly behind that line. So, you know, that's exciting too. The points add up, that's great. But what he did for our teams, my junior or senior year anyway, we wouldn't have been in the playoffs. I mean, it was him, you know. We had a great team. That was region champs, all that's fun. But it was because of Pie. I mean, that's, you know, we followed his lead. Lake City, he was a star there. Went with Miss Adams' son, great basketball player at Lake City, and then Jacksonville State as well. I think those accolades are, you know, you don't hear about it because you don't know who the person is. We played in a beautiful gym. I tell stories all the time that we used to watch other teams walk in the Glass Palace and just, they were in awe because it was the nicest gym in the area, especially when it was built in '83, and then we came right after that, between what Miss Adams did and then our year, 85 or 87. It was special. You know, I moved to the area in '85. I came from Florida. I was a soccer player. Soccer wasn't even heard of back then in Glynn County anyway. So I decided I'm going to play basketball. You know, the best way to meet somebody, get into a sport. I probably subconsciously through practices and PE class wanted to befriend, you know, the best player I saw, and he was by far the best player I saw during practice and things like that. So, you know, you watch him, his mannerisms, how he acted, and it was special. His brother had the same thing. These guys glided around. It wasn't like a sprint or a run, or it was the craziest thing. Coach Whitfield, his family here as well, he used to call it lazy fast. And the reason is because it didn't look like they were moving until you got next to them. The players that played against him, you know what I mean? The referees, Mike, if you were next to them running, they were flying down the field or the court, and it didn't look like they were even putting forth any effort. Along with that, whether he didn't do a lot in games, but he wanted to the chagrin of Coach Whitfield. But we played in Chuck Taylors, for people that know what those are, with canvas shoes. I mean, you know, they're not like what we have these days. But he would play untied. He didn't tie his shoes. And he just floated around the court, and nobody could catch him, and nobody could out-dribble him, and nobody could dribble against him. You know, he had the people that know him, he had a crossover spin move for a layup that was crazy. And when people weren't looking, or if I was at the house, man, I practiced that thing because I wanted to emulate what he was doing, because it was such a joy to watch. You know, my dad let me drive when I was 15, probably not legal, but it was a way not to have to take me to school. And so that was easy for Willie too, so he probably became my friend because I could get him back into the practice. And, but it became a great friendship, whether it was staying up all night playing basketball, right across from Hercules till 3 in the morning, or if it was at my house, wherever it was, we became great friends doing that. You know, life happens, we go off to school, we have families, and you lose touch and you lose sight of things like that. But we talk, you know, once a month usually at least, we talk about our kids and what they were doing, and luckily for me, I'm blessed, and he was too. Our kids were athletes, so we shared that, so we had that in common at the same time. I'll go through those because, you know, it's sad, but at the same time, you cherish those moments. But I was out of the country, and in 2017, around the holidays, and Vaughn knows this, he reached out to me, he said, you know what, I'm coming home. I want to move home. I want to get near family. He had a little bit of health challenge, but he wanted to get close to family, and so that was the holidays of 17, and I was out of the country, and I got a phone call in 2018 that he had passed. You know, tough. Of course, I got back home, and we got all that situated. But if anybody asked me today, he was one of my best friends, and I feel like he would have felt the same way. You know, this is just as tough as speaking at his service. You know, it's something you don't want to do, but everybody's guilty of not paying attention or not keeping in touch because we have our lives. So, in closing, not that, you know, we talked about how great he was, and that was great. It was wonderful. But as a man, and in closing here, and for everyone in the crowd, you know, I challenge you to stay in touch. Find your old friends. Don't wait once a year. Don't wait once every 6 months or till something happens in the family. And definitely don't wait until something tragic happens. Because, you know, I mean, we never have enough time. So I challenge you to reach out, talk to people, just see how somebody's doing. You know, Antoine, I'll piggyback off that too. I mean, he mentioned it, the time goes by and we lose track. And I can tell you, you don't get that back. I mean, it makes you emotional, but at the same time, there's nothing you can do about it but look back and relish in the memories and understand that you're trying to do them justice in whatever you do, because we miss them. And I know the family feels the same way. But the bottom line is it's an athletic Hall of Fame, and he was a great, great basketball player. I've heard 2 or 3 times tonight from different people that have never spoken to me about it. That were like, oh my gosh, that guy. And I've heard that 3 or 4 times tonight because that's what he was. And he was amazing to watch and a great person. So again, thanks to the family. I really appreciate it. It's an honor. Thanks to the Hall. Again, I think he deserves it. And I appreciate everybody showing up and at least honoring what we have memory-wise with him. You know. Thank you.
Great Jackson, ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome Willie Fisher to the Glynn County Sports Hall of Fame. This next young man, I grew up right around the corner from where his family lived, and he was like one of the South End heroes to the rest of us growing up down on the South End. Bob Parsons was a star shortstop and pitcher for Glynn Academy's 1973 state championship team. He was also a starter on the GA basketball team, earning 3 varsity letters in each sport with the Red Terrors. As a sophomore, Bob was second on the baseball team with a .339 batting average as Glynn finished 16-4 and shared the regular season region title. In the 1973 championship season, Parsons, a junior then, pitched 2 no-hitters, including one against Wayne County when he struck out 18 of the 24 batters he faced. He also threw 12 innings in a win against Butler in the South Georgia Championship Series, retiring the final 15 batters he faced while allowing just 3 runs on 7 hits while fanning 12. He led the team that season with a .430 average and was a staff best 7-0 on the mound with a 1.06 ERA. As a senior, Bob batted .348 and was 4-1 as a starting pitcher, helping Glynn to an 18-4 record and the Region 3 Quad A championship. He was 11-1 for his career on the mound with the Terrors, with his only loss coming in the state semifinals to Southwest Macon his senior year. Parsons received a baseball scholarship to David Liscomb, where he played from 1975 to 78. During his outstanding career, he established himself as one of the greatest players to ever wear that uniform. He was named team MVP in both 76 and 78, also named first team NAIA All-American in 1978. Bob Parsons led the Bisons to an amazing 184 wins in 4 years, including the 1977 NAIA National Championship. He was named to the National All-Tournament team that year in both 77 and 78. In 1978, Parsons also served as team captain, helping lead Lipscomb to a school record 50 wins. He teamed up from the second base position to set a school record with 60 double plays. That same season, he set a school record for hits in a season with 99, while hitting an impressive .402 for the season. For his career, he hit .364, leading the team in hits in 76 and again in 78. He was also an outstanding infielder, finishing with a .975 career fielding percentage. Parsons was later inducted into the David Liscomb Athletic Hall of Fame. After graduating from college, he signed with the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1978, played with their Class A Salem Pirates team in the Carolina League for a year. He continued to be involved in baseball through years as an instructor, and we've got his video right now.
About 50 years ago, I was standing in the same site in the Akalama, the old building here. Glynn Academy was in a challenge to win a concert. So as a school, we had to write facsimiles and mail them into the Big 8, where we could get a concert with Chris Christopherson and Rita Coolidge. And we ended up winning as a team, Glynn Academy. Unfortunately, we had to get Dr. Hook in the Medicine Show. But that was fantastic. I think we all enjoyed that. But the analogy is the environment around this area, teamwork. I'm honored to be back here in the Golden Islands, and obviously thrilled to death to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. And I don't take this for granted. I want to thank all the selection committee. Kevin, Rex, thank you for your help, and the board, and everyone here joining me tonight. It's an honor to be selected to go in with a talented group of athletes like Adam, Antoine, Johnny, Katie, and Willie. I've read and it's amazing, but I'm honored to be going in at the same time. I particularly want to thank my family for their love and devotion. My wife Jerry of 40 years, my daughter Holly, son-in-law Doug, my daughter Katie, son-in-law Trevor. We're very proud of you. My brother Bill and his wife Grace, my brother Rusty, his wife Robin, and daughter Bella are here. All my friends that I grew up with during a very special time. I don't get back to Brunswick very often, but when I do, and I see my friends, the people, we reunite, we carry on like it was yesterday. Athletics and friends have a long and lasting bond. I've got so many fond memories of growing up here in Brunswick, from playing sports as a 9-year-old all the way through high school, baseball seasons, rec league basketball, and then Sonny Miller's 13-year-old football all-stars. That team is what you strive to get to as a kid. But you never wanted to hear Sonny holler out, "Hot and mighty," when you messed up. You knew you were in trouble. Hot and mighty, is that actually a word or just a saying? And then at the top of my list is Glynn Academy baseball. Winning the 1973 Georgia High School State Championship made it even more special. A memorable year with great teammates and coaching that hold lasting memories. To all my teammates, please stand, because this was a team effort. And they're here tonight. In business, there's a saying that we say is that you can't see the forest through the trees. There's obstacles, rocks in the river, problems and issues. And to be successful, you have to find ways to get through the trees, to take out the rocks for a clearer, more successful journey. You have to have a vision of where you want to be and what you want to do. And I tell people that work for me to be noticeable, creative, innovative, and most importantly, to outwork everybody else. That was the message I got from my coaches here at Glynn Academy. And I want to thank my mom and dad. They gave me the opportunities I had growing up. And I don't take that for granted either. And think of them often. And I know they are a huge reason why I'm here tonight. The old saying that your parents get smarter the older we get definitely applies to them. As I look back, I know my dad and Coach Braun are two people that helped me to achieve the success I had in baseball. They prepared me for the game and to get to each level, but it was up to me to execute. My father was a visionary, and with that vision, he set us on a path for success in sports. Being a sports-oriented family, it was the center of attention in our family. Whether in the backyard, at the neighborhood baseball fields, listening to UK basketball in the car, or at our home away from home, the rec, We were always doing something, playing ball or around sports. My dad was from Harlan, Kentucky, and most of you know that know me, we do bleed blue. He went to Georgia Southern to play basketball and baseball. We lived on the Georgia Southern campus. Bill and I were bat boys and ball boys for the college baseball team. And we moved from Statesboro to Brunswick in 1964 for a brighter athletic future. In 1964, Glynn Academy won the state football championship. And I remember going onto the field after we beat Avondale, trying to get Johnny Tullis' chin strap. I didn't get there quick enough, so on to Tash Van Dorp, and failed there. But Johnny, just so you know, you were first. In 1966, I made the baseball all-star team as a 10-year-old. And we played on St. Simon's Island for the state championship. And we won it. I can remember David Rozier pitching in a crucial game against Savannah to get us the win. In 1967, with virtually everyone back, we played again for the state championship in a modified Edo Miller Field. We were rained out the last game and had to go to Macon to play Ackworth, and we won again, back-to-back state championships. There's that team. That's what this area is, for teams. Then came the big vision my dad had. He held me back in the 8th grade and said it was for athletics. He said it's the Valdosta way. That's why they were so good. I didn't quite understand what that meant, but he was the boss. I was just a young teenager, so what kind of visionary was I? Fast forward to the 9th grade. Just when I thought he was visioned out, I got a glimpse of the next one. He woke me up earlier than normal one morning and said, "We're going to clear your locker out, and you, son, are going to Glynn County Junior High." My dad was the principal there. Basketball had started, practice that afternoon, game on the weekend. All as a plan to play for Herman Hudson and, of course, Max Braun at Glynn Academy. Years later, I worked in Peachtree City with Earl Bagley, who was the Jane Macon basketball coach. One day at lunch, he asked me, he said, "Can you tell me what happened?" I said, "It's still as clear as mud today as it was then," so I didn't have much to tell him. But ultimately, it was to play baseball for Max Braun. As a sophomore, now I've got to tell you, the first baseball practice was at Arco Park, and I learned a valuable lesson. Coach Braun said, "Pack your lunch because you're going to be here a while." I didn't know what that really meant, but I found out very quickly. I had no lunch and no snack, but there was a lot of water from the spigot of it. In high school, we shared baseball field at Edo Miller Park with Brunswick High. And when we practiced first, we were still running into the night when Brunswick left. As I look back on the grueling practices and the conditioning that we did, he made us a team very quickly. And I think you will all agree to that, those that played with me. We enjoyed the fruits of our hard work later in my junior year, in 1973, when we won the state championship. And it was very fitting that we did it at Edo Field. And those fond memories are still very visible today. When I do get back here, we talk about the same things every year. They just get better and better. On to David Lipscomb University to a new chapter. And many things that I learned from my dad and Coach Braun prepared me for college. And that same camaraderie we had there was the same as what we had in Glynn. And then winning an NAIA World Series in 1977 was the pinnacle in college and helped us achieve another team milestone. And that was special. And right after that year, Coach Ken Dugan, who was my coach the whole time I was there, he looked at me and he said, "You know we need a shortstop." And I said, "Yes, sir, I know that." He said, "Do you know of one?" And I said, "Yes, I do. There's a kid named Walter Ward at Glynn Academy." And Walter had a fabulous career at Lipscomb, and I felt very special to help recruit him to Lipscomb, and he was later inducted into the Hall of Fame at Lipscomb. As I close, I want to say thank you again to the selection committee, and I appreciate the true honor of being inducted into the Glynn County Athletic Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Johnny Tellis was a star running back on the 1964 Glynn Academy AAA State Championship team as a senior. He rushed 254 times for 1,220 yards that year, just 37 yards shy of the Glynn Academy single-season rushing record at the time, set in 1958 by George Rose, who was part of the inaugural Glynn County Sports Hall of Fame class back in 2012. Tellis also led the Terrors in yards, rushing all 3 years that he played on the varsity team. Back then, freshmen could only play on the freshman team. Tellis caught the legendary game-winning 62-yard touchdown pass from Cash Vandora in the South Georgia Championship game with 45 seconds to go to beat Columbus 14-7 in the 64 title season. He rushed for 141 yards on 28 carries against Avondale the following week to help Glynn Academy win the state championship game 21-18. Both games were played at Lanier Field here in Brunswick. The 1964 state title won by the Terrors remains the only Georgia High School State Association state championship won by a Glynn County football team. Vandora, who was inducted into the local Hall of Fame back in 2023, has been on record calling Tellis the best football player on that great state championship team. Tellis also played safety and linebacker on defense for the Terrors while starring in the offensive backfield. Tellis was selected to play in the Georgia North-South All-Star game the following summer at historic Grant Field in Atlanta, along with Glynn teammates Nick Mavermat, Chicky George, Galen Mumford, and Vandora. Tellis was also named All-State by the Associated Press after the season. Johnny Tellis also lettered in baseball and basketball while at Glynn. He signed a football scholarship to play for the legendary Bobby Dodd at Georgia Tech. He led the Yellow Jackets freshman team in rushing and was named team captain. His collegiate football career was cut short by an ankle injury sustained early in his sophomore season against Duke. He graduated from Georgia Tech with a degree in industrial management. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Johnny Tellis' video.
So there is still hope for the home team as Glynn takes over on downs at the Red Terra 18-yard line. Here's Vandora back to pass. Looking, throws over the middle. It's complete. And Tellis has it. To midfield. Tellis is going all the way. He's in the open. And Glynn will score. Who can say anything after a play like that as Johnny Tellis just went all the way for Glynn's touchdown? With only 45 seconds to go, Glynn has broke the tie. What a game this is. This place is bedlam. In the opening moment of play in the fourth quarter at Lanier Field, Avondale is leading 12-7. Glynn lining up at the 8-yard line. First and goal to go. The ball goes to Tellis. Tellis down to the 5, 4, 3, 2-yard line. And he's grabbed around the ankles at the 2. Vandora on the keep, and he scores for Glynn. Wing eye to the right. Ball given off to Tellis. Tellis around the right side to the 40, 35, 30. Tellis to the 25, 20. Tellis down to the 15 and dropped. Vandora calls on Tellis, a hole over the right side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tellis is in for the touchdown.
don't do this a lot. A lot of things have already been said, but I'll say again, this is a really great honor to accept this award from the Glynn County Sports Hall of Fame. It's really humbling because the current inductees and all the past inductees have just been incredible in their accomplishments. I'm so impressed that the athletes seem to keep getting bigger, stronger, faster, and just more athletic every year. I was really surprised when I got the call from my friend Tash that I was going to be inducted this year. And I just thought how long ago it was. It was 60 years ago that I played for Glynn Academy, Georgia Tech. I started playing football at the Brunswick Recreation Department, Sonny Miller. And when I went out for the football program, I had never played football. I didn't know anything about it. And they asked me, when we first got there, they had us together and they wanted to know what position we were going out for. And the only thing I could think of was tackle. So I said tackle. And so they lined us all up to run a 50-yard race. And after the race, after the run, they told me I was going to be a halfback, which was a running back. So it took me a while to realize what the game was about, and it seemed like I was always worried about the play called, making sure I understood what the play was and what I was supposed to do. So it was only toward the end of that first year that I realized I was supposed to get the ball and move it downfield. After that, I just loved playing football. I mean, it was the best thing that had happened to me. It changed my life. I was meeting all the kids who went to the different schools, elementary schools, and lived in different parts of town that I didn't know. And I got to make many friends, and in the course of that, I got to be friends with the family members, and it was just a really great experience. My family and good friends have always supported me, and they're here tonight. Many of them supported me tonight, so that was never a problem, having people to encourage me and support me. In 1964, when we got through the season undefeated, after some close games, which we came from behind to win, I thought our coaches, Henderson, Woodruff, Henson, and Atwood, had just pushed us really hard all year of getting ready to be able to play that. And we had run so many wind sprints during and after practice that we could play in the fourth quarter as good as we could in the first. We won playoff games against Columbus and Avondale, and became the first Georgia Glynn Academy team to win the state championship. And as I said before, our team is still the only state champion. There have been more talented teams, I know, and I know just from watching the players today, that they're great players. But no one has come, people have come close, teams have come close, but they haven't won the championship. It's really hard. But we had 5 players on our team who started in the state all-star game. We had the best quarterback in the state, all high school All-American, Tash Van Dora. We had the best center in the state, all-state center, Galen Mumford. We had 2 of the best linebackers, Nick Mavermatt, Chicky George, and then myself. I'm a big believer also in the team building in order to be successful in any group effort that you have. You do what you're supposed to do as an individual, and you are there for your teammates whenever they need you. Our efforts in our championship team really was based on that. As he said before, our team was inducted in the first year in 2012, and in addition to the players that I just said were recognized as outstanding players, we had a lot of other players who played and put in just as much hard work, and we couldn't have won without these players. Some of these, the players that I didn't just name, were really key into our winnings. Richard Robinson, Eddie Cox, Chris Rickenback, Harry Woolley, Ed Avra, Jack Simmons, Gary Goff, Bill Tippins, Wayne Lyles, Cecil Gordon, Johnny Crosby, and Mike Strickland, who, if he hadn't been hurt, would have been an all-star, I'm sure. Tonight I'm accepting this award for an individual achievement in football, and I owe my success to all my teammates. And I'm going to thank them again tonight for this honor. I want to thank Kevin Price and the Glynn County Sports Hall of Fame again for all they do for the community. And I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you.
Johnny, tell us, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Wainwright is a former Glenn Academy standout who went on to become a household name in Major League Baseball as a star pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals from 2005 through 2023. And I can tell you, every time I meet somebody from St. Louis here in the Golden Isles, I always say, you know, Adam Wainwright's from here. And they immediately tell me of all the great things that he did in St. Louis and continues to do. So he's also, that's his second home, and he takes care of them like he takes care of us, and we thank him for that. Adam was a pitcher, an outfielder while playing under Coach Chuck Fair at Glynn. He batted over 403 straight seasons, including 515 as a senior. With a fastball clocked over 90 miles an hour, he attracted the attention of pro scouts, especially as a senior when he was named the Gatorade Georgia Player of the Year in 2000. He also played football for the Red Terrors and was a standout receiver and kicker, earning all-region honors at both positions. Adam had baseball scholarship offers from both Georgia Tech and Georgia, among others, but was chosen with the 29th overall pick in the first round of the 2000 Major League Baseball draft by the Atlanta Braves, his favorite team growing up. Now, despite Baseball America naming him the Braves' top prospect in 2003, he was traded to the Cardinals after that season in a blockbuster multi-player trade that sent him to St. Louis, where he became a fan favorite and one of baseball's top pitchers during his long run with the franchise. He made his Major League debut late in the 2005 season before making the opening day roster the next spring as a relief pitcher for the Cardinals, despite always being a starter in the minor leagues. Early in the 2006 season, he hit a home run on the first pitch he saw in the first at-bat in the majors to become only the 22nd player in history to do that. That season, he ultimately became the St. Louis closer and saved the final game of the National League Division Series, then famously struck out New York Mets star Carlos Beltran in the NFL Championship Game Series to send the Cardinals back to the World Series, where he also struck out Detroit Tigers third baseman Brandon Inge to lift St. Louis to its 10th World Championship. Wainwright went back to being a starting pitcher the next season and would establish himself as the Cards ace for the next several seasons. He won 14 games his first season as a starter, the most in franchise history for a first-year starter. Among his best seasons was 2009, when he recorded a National League best 19 wins while posting a 19-8 record. He won the Players' Choice Award as the NL Most Outstanding Pitcher and was one of the top contenders for the NL Cy Young Award. Adam won 20 games the next season and was the runner-up in the NL Cy Young voting that year. He missed the 2011 campaign while recovering from Tommy John surgery, but watched as the Cardinals won the World Series again. 2 years removed from the surgery, he was as good as ever in 2013 when he led the National League in wins while helping St. Louis to another World Series where the Cards fell to Boston in 6 games. He again was second in the Cy Young voting. He won 20 games a second time in 2014, again finished third in the Cy Young race. For his career, Wainwright, also known as Wayno and Uncle Charlie for his amazing curveball, won 200 games and recorded 2,202 strikeouts. He's one of only 122 pitchers in baseball history to reach the 200 victory milestone. He is third all-time in wins for the Cardinals, behind legend Bob Gibson and Jesse Haynes. Wainwright's strikeout total placed him among only 66 pitchers to notch 2,200 strikeouts in a career. Also noteworthy, he was a 3-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove winner, and also a Silver Slugger Award recipient. Wainwright and his longtime teammate and friend, catcher Yadi Mullins was also the most successful battery of all time, the most wins and starts together. Adam was chosen as the 2020 recipient of the Roberto Clemente Award, which is presented annually to the Major League ball player who best exemplifies the game of baseball, sportsmanship, and community involvement, and the individual's contributions to his team. He participated in the 2023 World Baseball Classic with Team USA before completing his career in the 2023 season, which he said would be his last before it started. He was inducted into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame shortly after his final big league season. In retirement, Wainwright is living locally with his wife Jenny and 5 children while pursuing a career in country music, and yes, we play your songs on our station. He's worked as a studio analyst for the MLB Network and is also calling games as a color commentator for Fox Sports. Here's Adam Wainwright on the video.
The 0-2 delivery. Curve struck him out looking. The Cardinals are going to Michigan to take on the Tigers. They mob Adam Wainwright on the mound. They are National League champions and headed for Detroit as they mob the pitcher. And now Yadier Molina, in comes the bullpenners to pile on.
For the first time since 1982, St. Louis has a World Series winner.
Glynn County Sports Hall of Fame, Adam Wainwright.
Thank y'all very much. Thanks for staying around. I know I'm last. And Antoine talked half the night, so a couple minutes extra. No, I want to say thanks to first of all to the board, the Hall of Fame board, for voting me in here. This is really neat. This is really special. It's special to be able to do it here in front of this group in our hometown. And see so many special people here today that were so instrumental in getting me here. Also, thank you and congrats to all the wonderful inductees tonight. Katie, Pi, Johnny, and Bob, and then my buddy over there in the red with the bright shoes on, Antoine Andrews, who from kindergarten to 5th grade, I got to finish 2nd place in every single competition that we had at school. I got to finish 2nd in every field day. I even finished 2nd in softball throw, and I hadn't forgot that, which really bothered me because I thought I was going to win that one. And then from 6th grade to 8th grade, I watched you get all the muscles that I still hadn't gotten my first muscle. He had like 25 pounds of muscles in 6th grade, and I could never understand that. But then 9th grade through 12th grade, I watched him turn into the best running back in all of Georgia. In the history of this county, Ernest Palmer's a close second, but that's the best one right there. And nobody could ever tell me that he wouldn't have been a star at the University of Georgia. Nobody could ever tell me that. And I tell you what, speaking of him and speaking of that great table over there, these great tables over here, there's a lot of coaches here today that were incredibly instrumental. I did not know they had Glynn Academy baseball before Chuck Fair. I did not know that. So, Coach Fair, his wife was Trish, Coach Etheridge was always sending me out on routes, Coach Tooley, and Coach Allison, and then Coach Yates, who tried to get me strong in the weight room, Coach Howell, who put me in inside drill and always got my head knocked off. I want to say thank y'all to y'all, and thanks for being here. This is a really, really special thing to see y'all's face. I don't get to see y'all enough. But I tell you, the first day that I was ever in Atlanta Brave in spring training, I was running poles, and Bobby Cox, the legendary manager of the Atlanta Braves, walked up and said, "Son, you're in great shape. How'd you get in such great shape?" And I said, "Well, I was a wide receiver on Antoine Andrews' team." He wants more carries. He had 44 carries in one game. I was out there running like I'm wide open. First, also let me say, my family's here tonight. My beautiful wife, Jenny. My daughters, Macy and Morgan and Bailey are here tonight. And my mother, who brought me into this world, Miss Nancy, is here tonight. And y'all give her a quick round of applause. And then the guy who taught me my curveball, taught me every single thing about baseball until Coach Fair, Chris Carpenter, and some other incredible mentors, was this guy right here, this lefty pitcher, Trey Wainwright, who took me out of the backyard every single day. And I followed him around like a puppy dog. And just like one of our inductees said today, I wanted to be just like him. That's why I wanted to be a pitcher. That's why I wanted to be a baseball player. That's why I played all the sports. So, Trey, thank you very much for teaching me. But for me, it all starts at Mallory Park, watching my big brother play. And I, 3 years old, 2 years old, wearing diapers, rolling around, catching frogs in the dirt, and my love for the game started back then at Mallory Park. It started watching Braves games every night at 7:35 on Channel 18. It followed up with John Smoltz and Tom Glavine and Greg Maddox giving their interviews, and Trey cutting out interviews and highlights of things that they said in the newspapers, and we put them up on the wall. Those are the guys I wanted to be like. Those were the things, the traits I saw something about Smoltz, this competitive fire that he had on the mound. And Greg Maddox was always like 4 steps ahead and smarter than the other guys. And outthinking everybody. And then Tom Glavine was this stoic, stone-faced guy that you never knew if he was losing 7-0 or winning 7-0. He was always the same. And there was something about all those guys that I tried to incorporate into my game from a very young age. And I always tell people, young people, when you're watching sports, if you want to play that sport, watch intently, try to learn. You know, my brother Trey taught me how to watch a game, not just to watch it to have the entertainment value, which we did, but we also wanted to learn, why did he throw that pitch, or why did he swing at that, or why did he not swing at that? And it was those little games that we played on the couch that really helped me in my development. And then, you know, getting into playing football at Glynn Academy, the other thing I tell people is, like, I don't know if I make it to the big leagues without playing football, because when I graduated high school, I was 6'7", 178 pounds. Ask any of them. 178 pounds. And in football, the most important thing you got to learn is how to get back up. And every time I got knocked down for the first 25 practices in a row, the 2-a-days or whatever, I got the wind knocked out of me because I was so scrawny. And so eventually you can either quit or you can learn how to get back up. And football taught me that. And so those great coaches over there really poured into my life and kept encouraging me and inspiring me to be greater. And then moving on to Ed O. Miller Park, which so many incredible legends played before me. I got a chance to play on the place where I sat in the stands and watched the varsity players walk by with their metal cleats on the concrete. And I said, man, one day I just want to walk on the concrete and have that cool metal cleat sound. You know, and so a couple years later, I'm drafted by the Braves. I get to go into spring training. And I'm hanging around all the guys, and it's a great thing for me. It's amazing. I loved playing with the Atlanta Braves. It was a huge day for me and my family and our whole friends group when I was drafted. But I'll tell you, the day that I was traded by the Braves to the St. Louis Cardinals was one of the greatest days of my life, because while I found out I was traded, the phone was ringing. My mom's calling. The Braves are calling. I'm actually asking my future father-in-law for his permission to marry his daughter. And 26 years later, the most beautiful, most wonderful, perfect person I've ever met in my entire life is sitting in that red dress over there, still stunning. I've heard everybody talking, and I know everyone has been so patient, and I appreciate y'all being great listeners. What I really wanted to send y'all away with was everybody sees the player. Everybody sees the athlete that ends up on the field. They see the accolades and they see the great things they accomplish. But not everybody sees the incredible work that goes into being good. Anything you want to do in life, you got to work at it. And I tell my kids, if you ever want to be great at something, you have to work at it. You can't just work at it at practice. You got to work at it when everyone else is not practicing. You got to go home and outwork the other people that you want to be great at. And that was something inbred in me from a young age. It was something instilled in me from so many incredible coaches. And when you see the player, and you see the accomplishment, and you see the accolades, and man, what a great God that He allows us the gifts that we have. Everybody in here has gifts. Everybody in here has talents. Every single person has a sphere of influence. And what an incredible thing it is to be able to stand on the platform He's given us, proclaim His name, and proclaim that He is the one that gives the talents. And I'm just so thankful that I get to stand on the stage with all these people that I love so much, in a community that I love so much, and say, this award is not about me as much as it is about everybody in here who helped me and my family get me to where I need to be. Thank you so much.
Well, we're going to wrap things up. I got to tell you about Kevin Price real quick. When Kevin got out of college, he was on hard times. Hard times, baby. The only thing he could afford straight out of college was an apartment with a 4-foot ceiling. He couldn't stand living there. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Joe Willie. I do promise to be really, really brief. I know it's been a long night. Thanks for hanging in there with us. I really feel like this was the place to be in Glynn County on Friday night, especially if you like sports. I know high school football is just starting. I know there's this thing called First Friday, but this is where I wanted to be tonight, even if I wasn't in the role that I'm in. I appreciate all of you sharing this night with the Glynn County Sports Hall of Fame. I know our inductees really appreciate you being here and sharing in this moment with them. Have a good rest of your weekend. Be careful going home. And again, thanks to all of you for being here on a real special night. Thank you. And inductees, please come forward with your award. We'll get the photo taken and we'll move you along as well. Thank you.
I remember I was 6 years old, right?
We're ready to take your name.
Brad, you too, Brad. Here, you gotta make something. Sorry,
No, not in Thailand, but I do have issues with my heart.
All right. Antoine, how do you
When I looked and said, we've been doing each other since elementary school.
Give it to his
What you mean? But the speech was too good?
What do you recognize this?
bring my wife. No, I got two. Exactly. No, I'm not. proud of yourself.
Yeah, Rob. Yeah, thanks.
He was a coach at Texas. But yeah, they blew him away. And everybody was shocked.
We'll see.
Good luck to you. Nice to see you. What a stud.
Things happen.
You're damn smart. You knew what he was doing, didn't you?
He's a lot smarter than I thought he was. I know it now.